Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're zooming right into Module 1 of our source material, untangling the highly regulated medical writing landscape and figuring out exactly where generative AI fits into your day-to-day. We're going to look at what you actually produce, who makes the rules, and, crucially, where a language model can and absolutely cannot help you out. All right, let's quickly map out our agenda. We're starting with the document landscape, then defining quality, and drawing that hard AI boundary. After that, we'll dive into the human-AI workflow, run through a practical scenario, and finally look at how to avoid some really dangerous AI traps. So, Section 1, the document landscape, covering families and governors. Before we even talk about AI, we really have to lay out the rigid, rules-based territory you're operating in, from clinical study reports all the way to pharmacovigilance. As you know, regulated writing is a total alphabet soup. It's not just one big monolithic thing. It spans clinical, safety, regulatory, and medical comms. Your literal first job as a writer is knowing exactly which set of strict rules applies to the document sitting in front of you. For instance, if you're writing a clinical study report, or CSR, you are strictly governed by ICH E3, which dictates a very specific structure. Handling personal data in safety docs? Boom, you're suddenly under GDPR or UK GDPR jurisdiction. Submissions might fall under the FDA, while manuscripts are governed by ICMGA standards. The main takeaway here? You absolutely cannot successfully prompt an AI if you don't first know the specific legal framework your final document will be judged against. Moving right along to Section 2, defining quality and what good actually looks like. Because to understand an AI's limits, we first have to agree on the baseline attributes of acceptable regulated writing. And the absolute non-negotiables here? Traceability. Your writing has to be faithfully accurate to the source data. Every single statement must be traceable to hard evidence. You need consistent terminology across the whole submission, and it has to be structured to those standards we just talked about. Plus, it has to be attributable and version controlled. We're talking about a rock-solid, defensible audit trail of exactly who wrote and approved what. And of course, it has to be fit for the audience, whether that's a regulator or a patient. Generative AI can never, ever be allowed to erode these pillars of quality. Which brings us perfectly to Section 3, drawing the AI boundary. This is where we figure out exactly where AI fits and where it absolutely doesn't, drawing a clear line in the sand. There's a really stark contrast here between AI's assistive value and our accountability as humans. Look, AI genuinely shines at generating first drafts from structured inputs. It's like magic for turning a massive table of data into readable prose, restructuring text, or summarizing long sources into plain language. It's even great for flagging terminology drift. But on the flip side, human authorship is strictly non-negotiable. An AI cannot make final scientific or medical judgments. It can't interpret data to assert causality, and it certainly can't sign off on a document. An AI isn't going to jail if a compliance audit fails, right? That rests entirely on the named author. AI can't dictate regulatory strategy, and it cannot handle ethical framing. If it lacks facts, it will just make up plausible details out of thin air, and we obviously can't have that. Okay, Section 4, the human-AI workflow. Let's look at the assistant in the middle and see how this all builds into a compliant daily process. I like to think of this as a human-AI-human sandwich built across 5 distinct stages. Stage 1 is all you, preparation. You assemble an approved source pack and pick a governed tool. Stage 2 is the prompt, where you give the AI its role, the task, the sources, and the constraints. Then we hit Stage 3, the draft. This is the meat of the sandwich, where the AI actually does the heavy lifting, cranking out a first draft purely from those sources. But then we bounce right back to human control. Stage 4 is verification. You are fact-checking every single claim back to the source data. Finally, Stage 5, approval. You edit, sign, and disclose the use of AI. You are literally the bread holding this whole thing together, keeping the AI strictly contained right there in the middle. Let's put this into practice with Section 5, a practical scenario we call the Aldermere test. Let's move away from theory for a second and test your understanding of these boundaries. So, imagine you're at Aldermere and you've got 4 things on your plate this week. 1, a plain language summary of the Aurora 2 trial. 2, a first draft of a CSR synopsis. 3, a regulatory strategy note deciding whether or not to claim a secondary endpoint. And 4, a causality assessment for a serious adverse event. Looking at these 4 totally distinct tasks, where can GenAI actually help you out? Can it safely draft that plain language summary, or, say, decide the causality of an adverse event? What the answer shows our boundary in action.
AI is actually perfectly suited to draft the plain language summary and the CSR synopsis, as long as it's synthesizing them strictly from approved sources and you verify it. But items 3 and 4, humans absolutely must own those strategic and medical judgment calls. Deciding whether to claim a secondary endpoint is high-stakes regulatory strategy. Assessing causality for a serious adverse event is a highly qualified medical judgment. AI can maybe help gather the info, sure, but the actual assessment, the decision, and the sign-off, that stays 100% in the hands of a qualified human.
And finally, Section 6, Avoiding AI Traps. We need to talk about the difference between assistive use and over-reliance, because the risks here are completely catastrophic. So what exactly is over-reliance? Responsible assistance is great. It speeds up your formatting and generates drafts from sources you can actually check. But over-reliance? That is inherently unsafe. That happens when you start trusting unsourced facts the model just throws out there. It happens when you accidentally paste confidential data into public, ungoverned tools. But mostly, it happens when you confuse a wonderfully written, articulate sentence with a factual one, and you end up shipping a raw AI draft with just a quick skim.
Which brings us to probably the most crucial warning in this entire explainer. To quote our source material directly, fluent output is not verified output. The difference is where inspection findings are won or lost. Just because a language model writes with incredible fluency, gorgeous grammar, and this super authoritative tone does not mean it's actually accurate. You can literally never let the polish of the prose let you bypass your rigorous verification process.
When auditors come looking at your work, they know exactly what they're hunting for. They're looking for teams passing off fluent AI drafts as finished products. They're looking for AI being improperly used for judgment tasks like benefit risk assessments. They catch errors because writers didn't know which regulatory standard governed their doc, so structural mistakes slipped right through. And they definitely penalize teams that just assume they're getting massive productivity gains without checking if their accuracy is actually holding up. Remember, regulators hold the named human author completely accountable. They do not care what software vendor you used, you are on the hook. So, as we wrap up Module 1, I want to leave you with this final thought for your own daily workflow. When you sit down to write your very next document, ask yourself, if an auditor reviews this submission line by line, will your AI's fluency hold up to their demand for absolute accuracy? Generative AI is this incredibly powerful assistant in the middle of your workflow, but accountability, that's the one thing that can never, ever be automated away. Keep your standards high, verify absolutely everything, and own your outcomes.